bridge. I thought it was the wavy lines on the screen. All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right, so take a second here. We'll get adjusted. Take a moment to thank you guys for taking a moment of your precious time to be a part of this family. Okay, let's just keep it short and sweet like that because you guys are starting to figure it out. All right. Meanwhile, here we are. I want you to take a peek over at this side how wide this band of plasma is. That's a pretty wide, thick plasma conduit. Okay, and we'll go over this frame by frame here. But let me go ahead and just start this. Oops, see that's why I wasn't set up. All right, so let's get that rolling a little bit really quick. Well, it's loading up September 7th, 2024. Okay. And just a few little micro adjustments here and there. Everybody smile for the camera. Say cheese. All right. Get ready for the wedding photos. All right. Here we go. September 7th, 2024. 3 days until the 8-year anniversary for all of this for me. Well, it'll be 7 full years going on the 8th year. So on September 10th, I'm not sure what might happen. Anyways, nothing happened the last 6 September 10th. So, but they were nothing compared to this time around. Now, were they? Anyways, let's get started with our solar report, shall we? Thank you all for taking your time to be here. All right, let's get her done, son. Let me scooch and pause on an opening frame. Boing. My reflexes are off, or my mouse is slow. All right. Here we are, opening frame, September 7th, 2024, 3 days before the 8-year anniversary. Opening frame, and let's start marching through this. As you can see, right now, our spire is very minimal. Yeah, that's very opening frame. It was very minimal until this eruption starts to happen, okay? See, it's just a little spike. Now, as we continue going on through this, hey, we get dive bombed by an angel. Or a moth that's looking for a nice place to hang out. All right, so as we continue here, you can see over on this side, our instrumentation reacting, something coming out here. And as you watch, this band starts to widen more and more. We got another little event coming out up here. And go look at that later, but anyways, this is what I want to talk about. As this event down below starts to unravel, you see how wide and as broad it's getting here. And then buried in there is, you can see one little object leading out front here, but buried in here is another one. Let's see if we can pluck it out. You can see this little carving out little shape right here where it's casting a shadow. Yeah, I guess that's picking it up, I guess. My camera's weird, so forgive me for my camera work. All right, you can see this little divot right in this indentation right here, and you can see the instrumentation has like a missing reading. It's back in here. You can almost see it right there, probably with a little ghost image behind it. This side is tricky with all the ghost images and stuff that like double imagery is what I'm talking about. The negative of the frame before following right behind our our original image. So, but here you see something going on up in there. Here's your little object right here, okay, and then there's another one buried in the plasma there, and you can see it's carved out its own little divot. And those things pass on by, but look how they just broaden out this whole area of plasma. Look how wide it is. You can see our V-shaped little bow shock on the tail end of some of these events. Look how it comes and then turns and goes in. And then we got, it almost like a little upside down check mark. Oh, what in the world? Oh, you ain't seen nothing, winning streak. We got some stuff here that'll really twist your melon. This is no ordinary live stream. That's where you come for the meat. A little something hiding in there. Round black objects. Everything is round and black because they absorb light. They do not reflect light. But when they interact with the sun, they sure rip plasma off the sun, and the plasma drapes over these black objects, painting their contour. And when you get a couple of them side by side like that, they'll draw out a big wide band of plasma like that too with them. All right, so this is these are small ones. You don't want to see the big one. Yeah. If you hang out here long enough, you'll see the big one, and you probably won't come back to this channel. So you better have a good, strong, spiritual foundation here at this channel. Okay. Let me just. I see some new names popping up in the chat here. I have to give a fair warning here. This channel is very disturbing. Okay, so you better have a strong spiritual foundation. If you don't, you better stick around till the end of the show and get one, because I will help you with that. All right, so there's your little solar report for the moment here. We'll be back over to this instrument in a minute. All right, let's come over to Solar Ham. Meanwhile, our solar flux indices at 222. We're down 27 points. That's good. We're almost about to bust 250 and keep climbing. So that's good that we dropped some. Our sunspot number count is down 19. We're back down into the yellow. Areas 1340. Doesn't matter right now because it's in the green. But let me just zoom in, Aruma zoom in for you guys to just cover a couple of these really quick. All right, all these 3806, 3808, 3818, all fading and rotating off towards the limb here. Even 3811, still that oddball with just the one polarity kind of rotating out. This weird configuration that was a little complex and had a couple of spots that were intense here, starting to, center disc, but just not really all that well developed. Meanwhile, this one looking like a big blue pimple right here is another reverse polarity. Okay. This one's red with no blue. This one's blue with no red. It's starting to form a little scab maybe over here that's trying to form a matching polarity, but for right now, it's kind of inactive as well, which is good. I'll take good news any day of the week. I don't like having to tell the bad news, man. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I do not like to be the bearer of bad news, and a lot of what we deal with is not the best news in the world. So, hang in there till the end. You'll really be shocked. This is nothing compared to what you'll see. So, as you can see, here's our little longer duration CME right here, the one that we were looking at coming down the south. Okay, it's a long duration one. All right, little drop out of data right here. So it goes up, and then we skip on down. You see our little moons that trail along, skipping, bumping, and stuff. And then it gets really quiet, data drop out, and then even quieter. I mean, we could go take a look at this, a little peek into the future, but it doesn't really look like much to look at. So we're not going to do it. We're not going to open up that link right there because you guys don't want to see a peek into the future. Well, tough. We'll just do it anyway. Oh, no, I wish I had now. Oh, I thought we were going to see nothing. Wow, it's a big angel spreading its wings. All right, well, hang on. Let me take a sip and get ready to report this now. All right, let me slide and catch. Back up a little bit. Bing, bing, bing. And the big object will give you a heart attack when you see it. So you better hold on tight. Over here on this side, it's a little easier to see. Our little darker object, round, circular, hanging out in the plasma. Here's all this light and all this plasma all over the place, and yet there's this one dark circle. How come there's no light in that one little spot? Gee, I wonder. Because they absorb light, they don't reflect it. They're much like a small black hole or something. Not a black hole, but something on a smaller version that absorbs light. It doesn't reflect light. It's made out of dark matter that's in a phase where it's missing electrons, it's missing protons, it's energy starved, it's energy depleted, and anything that has energy it will latch onto and suck the energy out of it to try to get back to a normal phase of matter. And there's another one hanging out there, so let's just kind of pluck through this. Okay. Oh. Bingo. Here, can you see it? If not, we will just get up close and personal with it. Okay. A round black object. Okay, it's got the magnetic field of its own little bow shock out front, the tapering tail goes back. Spaghettification of plasma is like taking it and stretching it and pulling it out until finally the magnetic field that's holding on to it at either end finally snaps. Okay, so it stretches these things out. And what they theorized as spaghettification is indeed true, and this is how it works. Okay, you're actually seeing it. Okay, so let me just kind of get all centered again, and we'll keep marching away here. Meanwhile, we got these two blasting off at the same time. And almost a partial halo, CME. So that could be coming towards us or heading away, one or the other. So we will be finding that out probably tomorrow once the trackers update. Bingo. Boom. Looks like a big old angel or a phoenix. We put that back into motion. Usually it's the motion that our eyes detect better. I only do frame by frame so we can like catch the best image of it or whatever. But usually it's the motion that really captures it, All right, so back to Solar Ham. All right, I'm glad we took a little peek under the hood there, huh? Okay, let me pull back a little bit and zoom out. We do a lot of zooming around here. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Our geomagnetic forecast for the next 3 days all clear. Okay, but I'm not going by this anymore. I'll just show you what they're calling for, but we're going to go make our own because usually these things take about 3 days to hit us. Okay, so we will go back 3 days when we get to our weather report too. Okay, so meanwhile, X flare potential 15, M flare 55. That's good. I will take that all day. Your solar flux index is kind of like your average. All right. This SFI solar flux index is your average of, up and downs over the course of time. And you can see we have a small decline, especially towards the end here. It really kind of came down from this and tapered off. And even at this last little bit, it's almost about to hit the sea floor. See this green line right here is the bottom of the C range. So you'd be down into B range, all right? And you can see our X-rays, current X-rays are C 1.9. All right, so we're really low. Our SFI, our solar flux index, overall index has lowered. And you can see it. Okay? All right, let's get over here to our geomagnetic field, and our auroras are really low right now. Good. Our KP index is down at 1. Okay, so no unexpected solar storming right now. Okay, they're calling for 3 days of green. All right, so we'll get into what's going to cause the could unsettled. It's unsettled right now, but we'll see what else could unsettle it some more here in a minute. Okay, let's continue on. We come over here to our sunspots. We got, I'm concerned about 3811. What was it, 11? No, it's this latest one, 3815. Beta, gamma, and growing. All right. These other ones are declining. One of them went delta, but it's already declining. So all of them are beta, gamma, and declining. This is the one I'm concerned about next is 3815, beta, gamma, and growing. All right. So that'll be our next little contender to deal with. Excuse me. So let's cover this really quick. An eruption to the south of AR 3813 was observed Saturday morning beginning around 6:15. All right. The event measured as a long duration M1.6 solar flare and is associated with a coronal mass ejection. Based on the limited coronal mass or coronagraph imagery, it is so far appears to be heading mostly south of the sun Earth line. A further update regarding this event will be provided. Okay, this heading, it's like coming at us from the sun, but in the southern region, kind of coming out down below us. So it would affect, the southern hemisphere of our planet if it came by. Okay. or if it interacts. We'll see. It depends on its magnetic configuration as well. Okay, so we'll get into that as well here. Let me open up the tracker, do a little track lacking since we're lacking some tracking these days. Okay, pop that open, please. Thank you, Lord. Okay, as that unloads there, here's Earth, there's the sun, CME heading away. Yay, I will take that any day. We do not need any more impacts. Every impact puts more energy into the Earth, and we're overcharged already. All right, the Earth is emitting gamma rays now. All right, we're emitting gamma rays much like the sun does because the Earth is overcharged. All right, we'll explain how that works as well too here. There's your tracker right now. Now, when we see activities, our bigger ones, not so much these little small ones, but our bigger ones will come by the sun. And you see this little black ring right here. This represents an orbit line for these satellites. But I'm going to use it as a reference tool, this round ring, as a reference, as a magnetic field barrier line that goes around the sun, because there are many of them at different frequencies that travel further out away from the sun. There are different little magnetic field barrier lines like these round circles that go out. To say this was 20 hertz, and this was 40 hertz, and this was 60 hertz. All right, so that's how I'm using it. If an object, a bigger object traveling this direction, whoops, I got background stuff blocking my pointer. It's like you're trying to make a pool shot and there's a wall hitting you in the back of the pool stick. You're like, what? How come I can't move? All right, so back to business. This round circle right here. If an object moving by the sun here strikes this round circle, it's going to create an arc. The magnetic field from the black object and the magnetic field from the sun touch each other right at these two circles, and you get your solar flare going off this way. So this doesn't hit us, but if the object is still traveling in this direction, it'll cruise by Earth in 3 days, and its magnetic field will interact with ours, and all of a sudden we get these unexpected geomagnetic storms. Not unexpected here. And I kind of just explained why, and we will finish explaining why even deeper detail as we go. I want to see impact at Earth over here on this one, but, well, let's just pull it up anyway, because give me just a second here. I'm old school with a laptop and a phone recording a computer, so don't go for audio effects here. I don't have the best audio, all the best apps and tools, but I do understand how it works. Okay, here we go. Noah's model, impacted stereo A, which is just off to the side of Earth. All right, here it comes out. Boom. You see how it splits north and south right here, and it kind of splits up right there. So I would say that's still an impact around 11, around the beginning of the 11th there. We'll watch that one more time. Keep my hand out of the way so you guys can see. They show it kind of tearing apart. Well, I don't think that's necessarily going to tear apart like that, all right? They're saying you might dodge a bullet, but you see this impact hitting stereo A is not too far from us. We could be getting a very similar impact to that, especially when you see this right here, okay? That wave is still coming in our direction. So let's go with their impact around the 11th at the cusp of the 10th, 10th of the 11th there, okay? Keep that in the back of your mind when we do our weather forecast. Then we're done, son. I think so. This was an old article. Let's move on to spaceweather.com real quick here. Near miss CME predicted. Okay, so here we go. Near miss. So that's a oxymoron. Did you hit it? Did you nearly miss it and actually hit it? Because a miss is a miss. And if it's a near miss, that means you hit it. anyways, let's just keep going with the article, okay? Near miss CME predicted. A CME left the sun yesterday, propelled by the eruption of a magnetic filament connected to the sunspot complex AR 3815. The bulk of the CME is heading south of Earth, but it could graze our planet's magnetic field on September 11th, a date that will live in infamy, according to NASA models. A glancing blow or even a near miss, the strike could spark equinox auroras around the Arctic Circle. Okie dokie. Starliner's perfectly fiery re-entry without the astronauts. Another near miss, or nearly missed getting them home. Could have got them back, but you nearly missed that opportunity. Near miss, or is that a hit? I don't know. Anyways, so September 11th, they're kind of agreeing a little bit here. They're connecting it to the magnetic filament that came off the sun yesterday. All right, so we will go to yesterday and we'll look at that one, but that's the one they're talking about for the 11th. I'm talking about we're going to look at tomorrow's, okay? So anywho, you can come over here and watch these guys and check out more of that. We need to get over to the Schumann. Okay, here's your Schumann resonance. Now what's going on here? These impacts we get from the sun, geomagnetic energy gets collected up by the magnetic field, directed to the poles where we see our auroras, okay? Then the poles direct it down to the core of the planet. The core, being made out of metal, heats up, and when metal heats, it expands. Well, the heated core, it heats up, expands. It causes the outer core, or the shell that goes around the core, to heat up and expand as well, causing magma to heat up and expand and roil and move. And then all that pushes on the underside of the crust. It wants to bust out from inside, almost like overcooking a hard-boiled egg. It'll crack from the inside out. It'll crack the shell, and all the guts of the eggs will come pouring out the shell. Well, that's the same thing going on with the planet. What happens, though, is when the core heats and swells in diameter, grows in diameter, the shell around it wants to heat and grow in diameter too, but there's so much magma and pressure on top of it, pushing down on top of it, holding it down, and you got a crust sealing all that pressure. So it's like a sealed radiator that can't burst, whatever. So it holds that pressure in. Well, then that only leaves the outer core. When it heats up and expands, it can only expand downward onto the core. So the core is swelling and expanding outward, and the shell is expanding down onto it, and they grind on each other. The core spins inside that shell and propagates out our magnetic field. Okay, it's the spinning of a metal object inside of a magma type structure, or almost liquid metal type, maybe under pressure type structure, that creates electromagnetic field. Okay, it's much like a little small motor on a toy fan. You know, a little basic motor with a black wire and a red wire, and you plug it up to a battery, and it'll make a little fan blade spin. Your basic little motor, when that shaft spins, it creates a magnetic field. When you put the wires on the battery, that's what makes the shaft spin. Now, if you take the wires off the battery and you spin the shaft with your hand manually, you will generate a magnetic field, and energy will come out the wires. Okay, it's just the reverse. It's like the alternator on your car. Okay, so the core and the shell are swelling and grinding, and that's what's happening. Usually when it spins at a nice, without any interruptions, we get our 7.83. That's the frequency that your magnetic field resonates at. It's at a frequency. It's like a radio station. It hums at a 7.83. Everything on this planet survives on that frequency. All the animals, all the humans. And when you have fluctuations like this, is the core and the shell grinding, pressure built up, it started to grind and then tapered off. Then we started to get good continuity and then pressure build, not much, but then a grinding event, tapers off, grinding event. So over and over, the 7.83 is getting very intense and then back to normal, very intense, back to normal, very intense, back to normal. It's like some kid with the light switch turning it on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. All right. It's annoying and it's going on in the background. Something else is very important about this. Without the 7.83 magnetic hum, you would lose your mind. Your brain needs that in order for you to think rationally and keep ahead, right? The Russian cosmonauts didn't know about that or forgot to produce a 7.83 magnetic field in their capsule, and their astronauts went nuts. They went berserk and killed each other. All right, they lost their minds, went murderous, and killed each other in the capsule because there was no 7.83. That's how we figured it all out. Anyways, when you see these intense spikes and then back to normal, intense spikes, back to normal, this causes pain, irritation, it causes confusion, swelling, all kinds of just crazy stuff in the background when you don't even know it. Your day is just going fine. Meanwhile, all this stuff going on in the background, like Mike Tyson beating you up. All right. And usually we'll have a couple of bumps in a day and it's not so bad. This kind of activity is like a roller coaster ride. You're feeling good, then you're feeling like shit. Then you feel good, and somebody comes up and makes you feel like shit, and then you're feeling better than bad. And it's just this emotional roller coaster ride. And you're looking at today was quite a ride, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Wasn't your day quite a ride today? Yeah. And this is why, because it was going on in the background, all right? It's also indication of pressure down below. We have taken on some energy, and the Earth has found its new little pathways of relieving pressure via SO2 emissions, volcanoes, and earthquakes, that when pressure builds up, we don't get these big, not too bad of these blasts. Now, when you see these white streaks go off the page, you're seeing the higher frequencies. This is 0 at the top going to 40. It goes, there's another graph that continues down to 80, but she kind of stole it. But anyways, I'm joking. But that would be like having every radio station on in your car, every AM, every FM station, all playing at the same time, with all the commercials, country, western, rock and roll, talk radio, all jarbled together, just so much to where you can't pick one out. All right, so all that garbled together, and then your annoying kid with the light switch comes over and cranks the volume up on the speakers in your car. That's what it does to you, okay, in the background. And you're just going, I feel like paralyzed or whatever sometimes. So this is really messing with people, okay? And it's messing with the planet. None of this was happening until we started having our solar activity, okay? Because we were going along smooth. We had good continuity. And that's what I like to report, is just a smooth green line. I don't like to report this stuff, okay? This is indicators of something wrong, okay? Unfortunately, I have to be the bearer of bad news, and this is indicators of something wrong here, okay? And when they talk about the Earth's core reversing, I'm just refreshing for a little data, fresher data, because I see this white spike growing right there. We're actually just came out of some smooth stuff, and we're going into my show right now, so hold on tight. All right, so there's your latest little reading, this little white line. We can always come back to that. We got to continue on. All right, so here we are over at Null School. Did I have to reset this too? Oh, so much fun. I had this whole show set up. I go out to do prayers. I come in and try to do an audio check. Reboot, restart. That's why we're late tonight. So I'm just kind of peeking around at our vortexes and stuff. Quite the event that hit here in China and Vietnam here. little vortex growing out here. All right. All right. Let's get over to the sand. Let's go to the sandbox. Everybody get your toys and let's go play in the sandbox. All right. This is where stuff gets disturbing, okay? Hopefully you're going to be not seeing some of this stuff really quick. So let me just start over here. I'm going to take the winds off. All right, you can see your wind patterns just kind of swirling around a little bit. Doesn't really matter right now at the moment. We'll get two wind patterns that do matter here in a moment. Okay, this is terrible. Our intense plume is dying. This white spot used to be quite healthy, you know. We get a refresh every white spot after white spot after white spot. So now we're getting a very weak, smaller size plume of intensity. It's more diminished and spread out. You can see our good, strong arm that's usually reaching out, flexing its muscle or whatever, is all diminished and spread out and diverse and diffused. We have a new airflow pattern that's really kind of ripping this stuff in half. You see half of it pulling down, half of it going there and splitting down the middle. And this is what was quelling all of the hurricane production. Hurricanes kind of born over here. They gain strength going across here, and then they go in. Well, all the sand particulates is a little heavier, and it stops that the height of your thunderheads, okay? When the thunderheads can't grow as tall, well, then your thunderstorms aren't as intense, therefore no hurricane. Add a little dry air that comes out of the sand. All right, the sand is very dry when it comes off here, so all this air is dry and full of sand. Particulates do help create moisture production, but this so heavy that it does quell some of the massive convection. Okay, take a deep breath. Here we go. So our plumes are getting more intense. Gone up into the Mediterranean is a little intense patch. Okay, so it split in half, went up there. Whoa. My camera doesn't like these colors, but we're stuck with what we got. Okay, over here, very diffuse, spread out. And this region in deep doo-doo. You can see it for those with eyes that see. And what we got going on here tonight, here's the second eye. Here's the first eye. There's the nose. Here's the horns. That one right there. Okay, then there's the, enraged, pissed off one right here with the nose looking down this way at that region. So we got some regions that are in a lot of trouble. Okay. This Gobi Desert sandstorm, Caspian Sea sandstorm, and everything that you're going to see here is all spiritual events. Whether you think it's weather or not, actually there's a spiritual component behind all weather, and I will introduce you to that as well. I just got all sorts of little gems for you guys, huh? That's why we're a family here. All right, that's why I said you need a strong spiritual foundation. And these people over here don't have it, do they? And somebody's quite mad about it. And he's just going to leave it like that. Okay? Whew. Let's move on to our SO2 now, can we? I can't stand looking at that all the time. I hate having to report on it, too. But it's part of this. You guys have to understand. I'm not here to sugarcoat this shit for you either. Pardon my French. I'm trying to stop cussing. But I can't sugarcoat this stuff for you because it's quite the dire situation, all right? Trying not to jump up and down and scream and pull my hair out. I need to keep composure for your sake, okay? Now, here's your country divided here. Let me just get her nice and pretty like. All right, this side over here, bleeding out SO2. This is the sulfur dioxide, not carbon dioxide, but sulfur dioxide emissions that come out of the ground because of, it surrounds the magma down below. The magma is pushing on the underside of the crust and wants to come out. all this should be magma coming out, but the pores, the little perforations in the crust are so small that only the gas can emit. So eastern side, very porous, bleeding out. Meanwhile, on the western side, you see perforations in the crust, all volcanic sites and stuff. Now, when I pull my thing up, you'll see our country divided. Every time. So we got to add a fire report to this because, well, what they don't really want you to know is, yeah, you got a problem. We'll get into that part first. Let's start up here. Up here at Canada, we have our SO2 emissions. Okay, this is sulfur dioxide comes out of the ground so hot. It is like thousands of degrees hot. It's the gas from magma. It's basically gas. It's magma that has vaporized. The magma steam. All right, you know what I'm talking about? Sulfur dioxide. So hot it comes out of the ground. It's starting fires up here in Canada. They had this issue last year. I was reporting a little bit on that a little bit then, but it's the problem is now it's traveling south and now it's into the lower 48. All right. And this is the part where I have to take a break and say another prayer because, whew, that's a lot of fires, you guys. That's a lot of SO2. These sites right here have all been within the last. We can go to the calendar in a minute. No, we got new people. I can't do that to you guys yet. We're just going to have to take it on the chin like this if you get you up to speed. Lord, give them strength to endure this knowledge I'm about to give them. Give my audience courage. I ask, Lord, please give them courage. All right, so it's getting very more developed. All right, we were seeing 2-3 dots here, maybe 2-3 dots there. Looks like Oregon and Idaho are about to just be on fire and sulfur dioxide at the same time. Activity over in Yellowstone, Wyoming area as well. We had some issues here. I thought so. Big fire erupted just over where I'm at, and sure enough, there's our SO2 plume. I knew it because I looked at the plume. We got a big long valley that runs all the way, and I could see down the Sierras, right? And I could see this plume. And it sure looked more like a big old volcanic eruption, more than a fire, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure whew, getting close to home. All right. Anyways, we got an area here at the Bay Area as well. SO2 emissions, some fires there. It had really kind of started creeping south and stopped doing that. Well, here we are. It's creeping south again, and we got another fire here because of the SO2 emissions. So, yeah, what they don't want you knowing is your fires aren't being started by DEW weapons from space. Okay? They're coming from underground. And what happens is these, in the forest, you ought to see some of these sites. The stumps are burned away, and there are burned out tubes going down into the dirt. The tree actually smoldered from the root structure up to the base, and then the conical base sends the heat to the middle part of the wood, setting the tree on fire from the middle out. So your tree is burning from the middle out. And we've seen that effect. Everybody's like, oh, what the heck? Why is this tree on fire on the inside? Oh, mystery solved. It's not a mystery anymore. See, they just don't want you knowing this stuff. Okay? It's disturbing. There's nothing you can do about it. When pressure comes, pressure comes. Fire, there's a perforation, there's a perforation. Just pray you're not next to it. And now it's traveling south, back down here again. I'm not really concerned about that. And nothing east of the line yet. We were seeing a couple spots. There's one here, but a few there, but they don't match up. That's not even close. This is close. Okay. Very disturbing trend going on there, actually reaching my neck of the woods now, which is not happy. Meanwhile, this newer plume up here in northern British Columbia has opened up and doing its thing as well. Okay. Even, well, no, we're not going to do theirs. I'm going to take the fires off now, and we're going to finish our SO2 report. Okay, so what was it? A few years back, there were like 4 of these little brown dots showed up along the Sierra Crest or whatever. I think it was Mr. MBB or PP Earthwatch, maybe, brought it to everybody's attention, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's end of the world. California's gonna have the big one." Well, it got all this attention and everything. Meanwhile, here we have millions of dots and not a peep. Well, I'll continue to report on it because you guys need to know. Cuba's the purple island, Jamaica. Well, we know why that island's purple, okay? Well, thank you. I'm glad you winning streak. You are about to we're just doing this part. You're going to be part of this family in a minute. Little does she know, huh, you guys? All right. Up here is the SO2 emissions along the northern part of South America. What I want to talk about is this whole band that goes down the entire west coast of South America. All right. And then right here is a fulcrum point on the plate boundary. Okay. And we have our weak spot in the crust. It's a weak spot at the fulcrum point because it's a weak spot, focal point. Okay. And that's where we get our stronger emissions. So we always come over and check this dot because it's like our gauge. All right, it's always there. It's always kind of flaring up, coming down, but it's a little gauge. I like to come over and check every once in a while. And we have these 4 dots in a row. Well, the other dots are sometimes they're less intense or less organized. And then we've had this 5th dot right here on the coast kind of come into the play. And let me just kind of zoom in. These are all individual sites. Okay, they're not a plume blowing up the coast. And I used to do this and just creep up the coast and show you all the individual sites, okay? Fulcrum is the middle part of a teeter-totter. You put 50 pounds on one side and 50 pounds on the other. If the fulcrum is right in the middle, it'll balance. If it's off to one side, it won't be balanced. It's the middle part. Anyways, as we continue on down, you can see stronger emissions coming out of here in the shape of a bleeding heart. West Coast? Yeah, we'll do West Coast. The West Coast of America in a minute here. We just did it, but I'll go back over it for you. Just let me finish up here. Meanwhile, this part down here, along Chile, along the southern part of South America here, strong SO2 emissions, all right? There's a lot of pressure under there, and when a lot of gas comes out, it's relieving a lot of that pressure, okay? So strong emission sites in this whole time along this coast. You can see the plume blowing out, okay? So these strong SO2 emissions keep earthquake magnitudes lower along this plate boundary. If all these plugged up, well, you'd have a big quake. All right. Also, what I want to talk about also before I forget is this region right here. It used to be all filled in with purple dots, and it's not. It's kind of vacant now. We had a big quake there with a big swarm afterwards, and all of these SO2 sites stopped producing. The pressure in that region was relieved, and it still shows that scar to this day. And we continue to still see fairly decent sized magnitude quakes out of that spot right there. All right, pulling back. Here's South America. Now, as we kind of do the West Coast one more time here. Here is the important part. Not so much the SO2 is the the fires that accompany it. Okay, you're looking at a lot of Oregon now has very strong SO2 emission sites. There are perforations in the crust right there. Oh, D-Rez, I love you, bud. It's good. I'm glad you're here, man. And thanks for posting in the chat. Wait, the sulfur map has got you. Wait until you see the other one. I might have to step away for a minute on that one. You see this lion face right here, too. Okay, he's looking over at this. Crazy. All right, so we have this big pressure area that's out here off the coast, right? And we haven't seen any quakes along the Juan de Fuca in a long time. Now that pressure has crept under under this plate, and instead of seeing boiling hot water out in the ocean, we're seeing SO2 emissions now. All right, so SO2 emissions causing fires in Oregon, Idaho, going into Wyoming, all over Canada up there. Used to be a bigger problem, but as we continue on, we go by Hawaii because I got some loved ones here, and they're doing its job. Now, you got to think of the Pacific Rim as a bicycle rim. All the spokes go to the middle of the rim. This would be the hub of the rim. So this is the hub of the Pacific Rim. All the pressure comes along the boundary plates, wants to relieve at the path of least resistance, a crack that's already there. So pressure comes up from down below. It likes to pick out the fracture points that are already cracked, or paths of least resistance, like where SO2 emissions are coming out and stuff. Okay? It's good that it's SO2ing and not having volcanic events there. But that could change here soon. Okay, now as we come over to this side of the world, we got to adjust for their time frame, for their daytime. Whoops. Take the fires off too. All right. As we come over to China, very, very intense plumes. Let me just kind of give you a guide. Purple, of course, being the darker color, the more intense plumes. White and gray being nothing, okay? So, this region here, the lake region behind the Himalayas, no SO2 emissions because it's very compact, very tight kind of dirt and soil. Over here, this is all like very loose, porous soil, and this pressure has started to spread, and now up here we're seeing intense SO2 emissions all the way up here, even in the Korean Peninsula. Okay, and then of course Japan, it's a volcanic island chain kind of. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of SO2 emissions out of it. I like to come here and check out Taiwan, though, because Taiwan's a fulcrum point on our plate boundary as well. And it does a lot of pressure relieving, like a relief valve. So we're seeing some good, SO2 emissions, especially this little site at the north end of the island, okay? Indication that pressure is building in this area because it's pushing SO2 out. And we need to see more quake activity here at this region. I'm not calling for a big magnitude quake. I'd like to see magnitude 5, 5.5, nothing too big where it's going to do a lot of damage, but something that's significant to relieve the pressure. It can't just be a mouse fart, okay? I don't want to see a 0.1. No, we need a good 5 to a 5.5 to relieve some pressure, and a couple of them. I wouldn't mind to see 3 of them because each one relieves more and more pressure down below, okay? So kind of locked up. Oh, we did see a big quake, or a decent sized quake, a 5 there yesterday. So we did get our wishes starting to come true, and we'll probably see a little reduction. In fact, this was all kind of purple yesterday, and now it's kind of split into 2 halves. Okay, so little indication that quake did do a little halving of the pressure, at least. All right, so down in the Philippines, again, they're seeing it as well. We come on down to Java because that's another relief valve. This whole island just spewing SO2, okay? It's got 2 volcanoes right here, and then multiples running down. This whole island chain running down are all volcanic islands that are emitting SO2. Now, Sumatra had started off with a little bit, and it started to fill in. Now, it's its own purple island, but it's not as intense dark purple. It's just a medium purple. You can see we have an intense spot here at the tip of Malaysia as well. Okay, and then you see Australia has its issues as well. Okay, it used to be excluded, no longer excluded. Okay, not even the island of Tasmania is getting out of this. All right, then we come over to where all the elites are trying to hide, and now they're starting to see SO2 emissions. They're starting to see bigger magnitude quake activity. Heck, we got White Island volcano erupting to 3,000, 4,000 feet all the time now. So not even that place is safe. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Can't hide from the planet unless you go to another planet. Okay, so you come over to this region now. India has its issues. Its plumes are getting stronger emissions, but they have this wind factor that keeps recycling wind. The wind's pushing it back up and it hits the Himalayas and it won't cross over the Himalayas. They're too tall. So this SO2 hits up against the Himalayas and gets recycled over and over, like the recycling setting on your air conditioning in your car. If you roll up all the windows, and it'll recycle the air from inside the car instead of taking air from outside. So this is much same effect. The wind patterns keep this gas spiraling and recirculating over and over again. And even though they don't have a bunch of emission sites, the ones they do are getting stronger. And now India overall is turning purple like China. And when you look around here and you understand that the spiritual realm is in charge and the different ideologies that don't like a certain one are labeled, aren't they? Anyway, you can see this region, a lot of SO2 emissions coming out of here as well. All right. And then, okay, that's it for our SO2. Now we come to, oh boy. Now we're going to do the ocean temperatures. Everybody take a deep breath. Hold on tight. Here we go. Okay. So over here in the Atlantic, we got the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. It's like a crack that runs down the planet. It's basically the zipper for the planet. It's a big, long plate boundary. And it's got magma, nickel, and even cesium coming out of the ocean floor. So hot. All kinds of little volcanic vents on the floor, little seamounts coming down, coming to life. We have all these volcanoes going off on the surface. Well, you got volcanoes going off underwater as well that match it. Don't forget, just because it's underwater doesn't mean it's not the surface of the planet. Okay, it's just a deeper depression in the crust or that's filled in with water. Okay, so the ocean floor is the surface of the planet still. Okay, you got that? The ocean floor is still the surface of the planet. Okay, so underneath that, on that surface, you're seeing all kinds of volcanic activity. These are heat plume anomalies, and you can tell where our new vents have opened up and where cold spots have kind of set up shop in different regions. Okay, let's come on over here. Wow, this is looking much better, much better. Look at this cold water trying to really fight back here. You see this has really launched outward. We had just this, you can see the plate boundary coming out of the Juan de Fuca going up like this, and all this region was red. Well, now it's minimal. It's less. This area is still intense, but we'll get to this in a minute. I want to talk about why this area has diminished. Okay, we haven't seen much earthquake activity on the Juan de Fuca, but what we have seen in place of relieving pressure in that region, and this is the only way I could kind of do it with this map, is our fires with our SO2 plumes. The heat has crept under the plate here, and now the pressure is being delivered under this region. All right, and there's no cold water to cool it off, so just little perforations in the crust. We got another heat plume like this growing under here. Meanwhile, the Juan de Fuca has kind of eased up a little bit. You see more cold water inundation. That means that the pressure's been relieved and the temperatures have come down and it's pushing further out. Good indication that pressure's been relieved, and we saw all this SO2 relieving pressure in that region. There have been a lot of quake swarming, little micro swarms, little tremors. Okay, there's been a lot of tremoring, and that reduces pressure as well. Okay, back to this. Let me pull back a little bit. You can see our triangle structure right here, type structure shape. All right. Before it was the whole triangle was kind of lit up. It's tapered off. Now it's more of this comma shaped structure again. And the little footing down here kind of extending out a little bit. So this area has changed a little bit, but that's much improved. Meanwhile, out here we have Tamu Masi, the biggest volcano on the planet, erupting underwater, emitting steam, magma, all kinds of great stuff, all kinds of seamounts, plumes, all out throughout this area, increasing the heat of the water through this region. Okay. Also through here, I like to come over here and check Taiwan. Taiwan, you see all this yellow up here? It had crept down into this fulcrum point region here, but it's receded now. So our yellow correlates with the pressure down below. Okay. The pressure down below is opened up a vent. That vent is pushing out hot water, magma, whatever, creating a heat plume in that region. All right. When pressure releases, well, the heat plume isn't so strong and it tapers and goes away. Okay, we had yellow inundation. It has tapered and gone away. We have cold water inundation coming into kind of replace it. Okay, you got to remember, hot water rises, cold water comes in to replace it. All right, so same with air. Hot air rises, cold air comes in to replace it. And these heat signatures on the surface of the water are creating hot air plumes, cold air plumes, right? Okay. So as we come through here, that's good news. Some pressure been relieved there. The yellow has retreated a little bit from that region. Meanwhile, we come down here to check out Java. Java has blue cold water inundation all around it. Okay. Got to remember, this is a tropical island right next to the equator with cold water. Why? Because all the pressure around the other areas, and it's relieving it, that the cold water can go somewhere. It finds a spot to hide. And you see the cold water is a good indication of the pressure being relieved in here. Oh, D, have a good night, bud. You can always catch the replay. It's good to see you here. Keep kicking ass, man. We're not done yet, okay? Meanwhile, let's get back to the report. It shows that it's our relief valve, and it's been doing its job lately. That's good because we still have cold water there. Otherwise, you see other areas where these structures have opened up on the ocean floor, all along the southern part of the planet as well. These ones opening up here are new on the coast of Africa, right here. Okay, these are newer structures that have just come around recently. Okay, now what we're going to do is, the bad news is we have that, but the bad news is we have other correlating factors like the wind. Okay, these heat plumes, these heat signatures cause the wind patterns now. All right, they're so strong that they've taken over the way our weather works. They create these conveyor belt type structures. All right, and you can see how, let me get a good example here. Okay, hot and cold, your vortex. Okay, hot air rising, cold air. There's also cold air up here too. See this? Cold air rushing in to replace it. Cold air, hot, cold. There's your vortex, okay? And these heat signatures have actually mapped out a new kind of jet stream that's, thermally induced by the volcanic activity under the water. Your weather is no longer controlled by your jet stream anymore. It's steered and guided by these heat structures. And if a new plume opens up, say a heat structure opens up right here, it'll turn this vortex into a bigger one like that. It'll stop spinning here and cause it to go further out or further back. So every time a new heat structure or cold plume grows, we get different conveyor belt type structures, okay? And for right now, you see this huge comma shape with a cold patch that's growing behind it, has taken air patterns up over this. Let me just kind of get right there, and driving them southward down the coast. They used to go all the way down the coast and then head back out to sea. That's why you haven't seen any storms come across this part. Everything comes right up to the shore, steers, and goes away. We have a new little influence jet right here coming off of this vortex. You see, we have a new rotation here. The spin-off is pushing against this downward thrust coming down the coast, tearing it off a little early and thrusting some air up into California, up into that area. See that? So that's a new little structure that formed in the last couple of days. And we got cold water is taken over here. This heat plume off the coast of California, they're due for some quaking out there, will help relieve pressure. Oh, shit. You saw it? Did you see the weather pattern structure is all because of your volcanic activity on the ocean floor? Yeah, you might want to sit down. Don't pass out and fall down, okay? Take a seat because this we're just getting warmed up. The pitcher's just warming up. We haven't even started to swing yet. Okay. So there's your weather structure, your conveyor belt structure patterns for the Pacific. Now over here at the Atlantic, our latest little divot right here has kind of taken our inside loop back again. We got this new little inside loop kind of tearing away. So we have two patterns here. Kind of center it just like that. Okay. Conveyor belt going up like this, all right? And then you got your outside loop that comes up through the Caribbean and then interacts with the country. Now, there's your conveyor belt loop. I hope you guys, can you see the face right there? The circus spinny eyes like a acid trip. There's his nose and big old mouth down there. All right. And now we have these heat plumes growing along here. All right. And that's where our hurricane genesis starts to form. And it looks like we're getting a spin up right here. This backward moving air with this air moving this way is already just ready to make stuff spin. Just by the airflow patterns, not even the heat signatures. It's the airflow patterns that are going to generate rotation. Okay. All these plumes are lining up right in the heat zone, ready for the strike zone. And without the sand there, that sand diminishing, okay, we're going to talk about, well, you had to talk about before, we could see our conveyor belt having 5 to 8 evenly spaced hurricanes, all gapped like that, going around the conveyor belt, lashing this part of the country. They go up, diminish in power, but then when they come out, they'd hit what? Oh, hot water in the North Atlantic and go up through here, lash this area, come back down. And then what happens when a hurricane enters this area? Oh, it gets born again and travels around. You would see like a carousel type effect of 10 to 8 hurricanes, all evenly spaced, going around this conveyor belt. It could also take the outside loop, and we could just see one after another start coming through here up into the Gulf. All right, now another map here I need to talk about. while we're here at the Gulf. These are your sea surface temperature anomalies, your SSTS. Where are we? Come back here. Ocean. Your SSTA. I'm sorry. Let me take the winds off there. Okay. Over here, you can see down here in this corner, sea surface temperatures. This is your sea surface temperature averages. Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of hot water right there too. So not only do you have the conveyor belt structure, you got even hotter water it's feeding it into. So you get 1, 2, 3 coming through here at a category 4. They'll be category 5, 6, 7 by the time they hit land. Yeah, I did say that, okay? Now, another factor that very well, if this continues, the rate we're going, even in the wintertime, okay, we're still in summer. We still have thermal heating from the sun that adds to these water temperatures as well. All right. So, what's it going to show again? Oh, I'll put the wind back on there. There we go. All right. And then another factor that could happen is if we see a centralized heat patch out here because the mid-Atlantic ridge tore open even more, and now we see a more centralized patch. You could see a hypercane, which would be the inside loop like this with the heat patch in the middle would be one big hurricane, and the eye wall would be the conveyor belt. Okay, so you can imagine one big hurricane sitting right there in the Atlantic, doesn't move because it's positioned because of the heat plumes, and the outside conveyor belt, or this conveyor belt type structure, would be the eye wall. So you would have straight line winds about 300, 250, 300 miles an hour, straight line winds going up the coast, going up through here. Okay, and we have dodged that bullet so far, thankfully to the sand. But now we're seeing a diminishing of that sand. So everybody hold on tight, continue praying. Your prayers have more power than you know. Okay, so there's your conveyor belt heat signature anomalies. Okay, because of and it's controlling your weather. And we'll just take a little peek at the southern hemisphere. And you can see how these heat cold signatures create vortexes, rotation, and you see their patterns coinciding with the thermal patterns on the water. Pretty amazing stuff. Okay. So we're going to leave this sitting up here as we go into our earthquake report now. Yeah, that typhoon just ravaged that place. Whoops. We can't do that. I got to open up some more pages. Hang on. I forgot I had to reset my whole show, so I have to open up more pages. So bear with me. Little timeout while we get the GS pulled up. And now we're going to show you how the earthquakes are all matching up with all this activity. Yeah, that dragon's been sitting 3 days. I saw your halos there, sweetie, on your channel. Good job, Watchwoman. I wish I had more time to just sit and interact with you, sweetie. I have so much business in the closing here that it's we'll have eternity, okay? All right, let's get into our quake report. Our deep quake region around Fiji. Notice how there's no deep quake right at Fiji. Everything's kind of all following the plate boundary system and stuff. Okay, so let's come up here real quick, start checking depths and magnitude. 4.8 at the surface, 6.0 at the surface, The slider comes in. It's a curveball. It came off the plate boundary. It took a little curve and into the catcher's mitt. Get it? Curveball. 5.2 down 39. Uptick in magnitude because we're used to seeing mid-range 4 putting 5 energy into the system. And we have a 6. That would definitely be an uptick in magnitude. Why? Well, because we have pressure down below. Usually we haven't even been seeing quake activity at the boundary entrance here. So we're seeing activity, and we have SO2 emissions out of this island. I forgot to show, but SO2 emissions act like the, little pinholes in a bicycle tube. You can't get full pressure because you got a slow leak. All right, so that slow leak, 2 little pinholes are the 2 vents coming out of that island, relieve pressure, keeping the quake activity down there. And here we are with quake activity in the region. Indication that we have a new round of pressure, and not just any activity. This is a 5.4, a little jump in magnitude too. It's not a 5, it's a half magnitude higher. We haven't seen anything in this region in a minute. A 5.1, another jump in magnitude. Nothing in this region in a while. 5.5, another jump in magnitude. See where this is going? Nothing in the deep region today, nothing along this whole plate boundary, but we had seen some quaking in this region yesterday, along with all the volcanic, so that may have relieved pressure in that region for a moment. As we come up here, I would rather see this quake right in the pit right in there, but it's within the region, and we saw the yellow color retreating, so we have less yellow because we had a 4.6 down at 48. I'll take any little bit we can get, but some magnitude 5.5 right in there would be good. Okay. This ain't too bad. 5.2. This is way down deeper, though. This is not the plate boundary. This is not relieving a bunch of pressure. This is pressure down below still coming up. 4.7 down at 174. I don't even have to zoom in. It says Volcano Island. Okay, but I'm going to zoom in really quick because we're seeing, these seamounts, these little underwater volcanoes, and you can see the base of the volcano. Magnitude 4.7 at the base of the volcano is an indication of pressure down below, a new round of pressure coming up. There's 4.7 vented there, couple of them right here. Boom, 4.6, 4.9. What do we do with 4.9s here? They go up to 5 because one of the longest lists in the world is magnitude 4.9 by the USGS. All right. Also, something I want to kind of take you to really quick. Back over here by Japan. All this yellow was up against the shore the other day. Oh, look. Look at that. All of that was yellow, and now it's not because we had these quakes here today. All right, let's move on. Okay, before I do America, let's come over and do these fulcrum points really quick. They're a little deeper here because of the thickness of the crust right there, but 4.3 down at 210, 4.4. You see this plate boundary coming up? There's one fulcrum, 2, 3. There's a little one there. All are multiple fulcrums pointing into one bigger one. Okay, so fulcrum point quakes there. Coming over here to the Turkmenistan, 4.7 at 21, and no quaking in and around Turkey today. Probably lots of quaking going on. There's the zipper right there that goes down the earth. The magma comes up from underneath this, pushes both plates in different directions, going this way apart. And you get a mountain ridge that grows along the underside of the crust here. You can see the mountain ridge. Are you going to let me have my voice back, Lord? Okay. Something was really digging at my voice box there. Like, don't say that. All right. Now, let's move on into South America. Fulcrum point right here on the plate boundary. You see the fulcrum point here in the land as well. That's where we see our SO2 emissions and a lot of quake activity because it's the path of least resistance. 4.7, 4.6, and 4.8 relieve energy along with that SO2 emissions coming out of here, keeping magnitude 9s, magnitude 8s from happening in this region, because this region is known for 8s and 9s. And we haven't seen one because all the pressure is being relieved right there. This is the like the planet's little pressure relief valve system at work. So lately, when we take on energy from the sun, depending on how big the blast is, it hasn't been so impactful because we're getting new pathways are opening up, new volcanic sites, new earthquake sites, kind of balancing out the pressure and keeping a balance actually to it. That's what I'm kind of hinting at. All right, we can get rid of. No, we need to keep that one. I'll keep that one. We gotta get rid of that one. Excuse me, I have to. It's okay. It's okay to fall asleep to my show. All right. I'm on late at night. My voice is soothing. You're supposed to fall asleep to my voice. Okay. That's what replay is for. You can pick up where you left off and find out the details. If you nod off to my show, that means you're at peace. And that's what we're trying to achieve here, even though it's very disturbing information. Whew. Spit it all out, Brian, and hit volcano. All right. There we go. So up top here, can you see 35 erupting and 32 in unrest? All right, that means the warning means active. They're still active, all right? You add those two together because all of them are active, half of them currently erupting. So 67 active volcanoes. If I'd have told you 7 years ago when this stuff started happening to me that 7 years later we'd have 67 volcanoes, you would have said, Brian, you're crazy. And here we are with 67 on land, another 200 underwater, and I am still crazy about you. All right, let's move on. Oh, we didn't click on it. What? All right, here we go. Ebu, finally, IBU, and we get a picture together. It's on this weird looking island you can't tell because of the clouds, and it's not even gives you a good reference. But there's a satellite image of IBU. Ebu. So starting off with Suenosi-jima, 6,000 feet. IBU, 7,000. Hey, we reached that magical 7 number. Semaru, 14, 15 usually. White Island, New Zealand. Eruption ongoing, low level, 3,000 feet. All right. That's probably high enough for the elite. No, 3,000 feet. Nevada Del Ruiz, 19,000. Sabancaya, it's so high, it's unable to detect. All right. And that was just in the last few minutes. Okay. This is today, which is now yesterday because, well, time flies at this channel. And if time flies while you're having fun and time flies at this channel, you must be having some kind of entertainment. All right. As you can see, this map used to not exist, but here we are with all these red volcanoes. Oh, well, thank you for the new sub. That means more. You just kind of signed a book. Kind of. We'll get there. Shibalus, Klutskoy, Bizamani, Karaminsky, Elaide, and Abaco, all currently erupting on the Kamchatka Peninsula. All right, that's why we don't see a lot of earthquake. Well, we are seeing some earthquake activity too, but this is being another relief valve too. All right, all these volcanoes through that plate boundary system, relieving pressure through there. Okay, so you're starting to get all this. Svarensky is still kind of off and on erupting. Meanwhile, Stromboli and Etna, we got all these active. All along this coast is active too. Let's get back into today's activity. Suenosi-jima, 7,000 feet. IBU at 7,000, or Ebu, tomato, doesn't matter at 7,000 feet. Samaru, 14,000. And White Island, low level eruption. Fuego, we're on fire, 15,000. Nevada del Ruiz, back on the map again, 21,000. Yeah, it just jumps back on the map at 21,000. That's huge. Sangay, 19. Sabancaya, 26,000. There's an uptick in that one too. So we see our higher blasts are indications of pressure down below pushing blast taller. Okay, and that relieves some pressure. Don't get one of these dogs, especially if the Schumann resonance goes out. Just imagine. Okay, let's move on to our weather now because we can. And afterwards, we will do the spiritual report and bring you back down to Earth. Okay, here's our current conditions. Nighttime of the 7th. Let me just scooch a little bit so I can get as much of this map for you and a little bit of button for me. All right, there we go. Your current conditions right now, going into the morning of the 8th, this whole low storm, low pressure system, common thing, finally wrapped up and moved out. We have seen in the last couple of scans, it is really clear for a while here. You can see stuff kind of, brewing here in the coast because we got hot water right in there. But all in all, everything's just kind of staying along the coast until this starts to really hit around then. But let me just back up, do a minute by minute really quick. All right, so current conditions, morning of the 8th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 9th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 11th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 12th, noon. All right, so around 11th, 12th, keep an eye on this, you guys. And that's still way too far out into the future to be accurate. So convection the 12th, nighttime, morning of the 13th. Noon. That'd be Friday the 13th, by the way. Probably unlucky for those people. Noon, convection of the 13th, nighttime, morning of the 14th. Noon, convection, nighttime. 15, noon, convection, nighttime. 16, noon, convection, nighttime. 17, noon, convection, nighttime. 18, noon, convection, nighttime. 20, convection, nighttime. 21. This kind of activity here, these low pressures that come up, and you got cooler air. Warm, moist air coming up through this corridor needs cool air in order to have some kind of severe weather, all right? Otherwise, it's just going to be rain. But your cooler air during these hot months is up here in this region now. So your tornado alley has kind of shifted. And this is not necessarily what's going to happen, but this is a good example of that kind of activity that when these air masses collide, there's severe weather at convection. Then at nighttime, it draws out like that. Turns into a storm front that goes like linear. Morning of the 20th, noon, convection. You see this linear front right here with severe weather up in there? The severe is up where the colder air is. Just rain down here. That'd be the nighttime of the 20th, noon, or morning of the 21st, noon, convection, nighttime. All right, so, all right, it was given to me freely, passed it on. All right. Now let's get to, we did all the astrophysics and all the geophysics. Now it's time to get to the metaphysics or the spiritual report, how you work, basically. And I want to pull up, no, not yet, that one, sorry, then this one. Some images that we're going to do some reading to. I've been through a lot, been through the desert on a horse with no name. And I took notes along the way, and I like to just kind of, your timeline, not now, dude, get out of here. All right, these are all images that I took on April 17th, 2020 That's Easter. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter, and I captured it in the clouds. Okay. If you tilt your head to the right, you can see our face right here, chin and beard, hair flowing back with a crown on Easter. And this is another picture of it, another picture. Okay, so about an hour-long event, and I took all these pictures of it. I've turned these ones 90 degrees so you don't have to tilt your head so you can see it. Okay. Other events going on the other side of the mountain that I captured. Okay, then I come back and this face is changed into a lion. Okay, so all happening on Easter. Okay, 2,000-year-old prophecy came true. It should not kind of make you sit down in your chair for a minute there. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up here. And we're going to get another image going here. Giant face by the moon. Maybe we got to play the video because we got some new people here real quick. This is That Impossible channel, but somebody else sent their video in to him. And I need you guys to understand this man's testimony is gold too. He went out and bought a more expensive camera. These cameras are expensive. To be able to zoom into the moon, the PX 9000 is not a cheap camera. All right, so I want you to hear this man's testimony and then also see what he captured, all right? Because it's part of our readings. Where's my volume?
Check this out. Let's take a look at this.
It is February 28th. 29th, 29th, I have got me a better quality camera to catch this thing in the sky. And holy moly, I am scared. I'm scared, but I'm not going to trip because I've been catching this thing for a while now. It's very ominous. There he is. There he is. There he is. There he is. It's a huge face.
What is that?
Looking right down on us. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit brighter. There he is. There's the moon. Oh, I lost it. There it is. Let's see if I can get a better picture on the moon like it's supposed to. Is my hand in front of the thing or something? All right, here we go. Here we go. There it is.
Look at that.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. Giant face out by the moon. Weird thing about it is my face. And I'm like, why is my face showing up out by the moon? All right. Oh, come on, play it, please.
If you've
After
ever
ad.
rented an apartment complex and you live near one of these cities, then you've got to see the same ad that I.
You got to get out of the city.
That this is.
All right. We're going to just pull up this image. All right. Cleaned up a little bit there. And that happens to be my face showing up out by the moon. Okay. And let's give you a little background on why that happened. So, we got a few newbies here. We're going to do a little connect the dots because there's an invisible picture that can only be seen by connecting the dots, right? So, we're going to start off with the first dot and a wake-up call. And all you that were waiting for the reading, just be patient. Okay, all this started happening to me on September 10th of 2017. For those of you who have read the Bible and you know about the Revelation 12 star alignment that happened on September 23rd of 2017, well, this is just 13 days before the Revelation 12 star alignment. Now, I was never a big Nibiru guy. Seen a lot of UFO activity in my life, and I was more into UFOs and stuff, okay? So when this happened to me, I was not a Nibiru guy. I just wasn't. All right. I'd seen people getting lens flares and saying it was Nibiru. I'm a photographer and I know what a lens flare is. I'm like, dude, you guys are just a bunch of. And then this shows up. All right. So I'm going to start off with this really quick. Now, remember, this is NASA's instrument, September 10th, 2017, almost 7 years ago, or 8 years ago now. It'll be full 7 years for me. All right. We got volume. Where'd it go? Let me just back this up real quick so you can see this. Because it's important that you know what's going on.
Boom. Here's our object right here. Looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side. And that's not all, because behind that is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares. Here's a conduit of plasma that is sucking off of our sun, going into this planet. Here's a damage ring or an impact zone on this planet right here. You can see Nibiru sticking out in front of it here.
Okay. This is space. Space is three-dimensional. Okay, this is not a circle. This is a spheroid. All right, the sun is spherical. Our planet is spherical. Everything in space is pretty much spherical. This object is black, dark. You can't see it until plasma splashes over it. Much like an invisible table, you can't see it, but if you throw a tablecloth over it, all of a sudden it paints the edges, the corners, the contour, and you can tell that there's a table there. Well, just like this, you can't see these objects unless they're silhouetted or painted by the plasma of the sun. All right. And this is the sign in the sun that was promised. Okay. This is also in hieroglyphics and other people's symbolism. All right. This is a sign right here. In the Revelation, it talks about the woman being, she stood with the sun, draped in the sun with the moon at her feet and a crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant. She had Jupiter in her belly. It was the constellation Virgo. It stood on September 23rd. Okay. Then the Revelation says, then there was another sign that appeared. So there were two signs at that time, the woman in the stars and the dragon. It says, and then another sign appeared, a great red dragon that stood in front of the lady or in front of the woman, stood before the woman to devour the child. It stood in front or before. It stood 13 days in front of the woman. 13 days before the 23rd when she stood. The dragon stood in front of the woman and before the woman. See, everybody read the Revelation wrong and thought that the dragon was going to appear afterwards. But it says, then another sign appeared. That makes you think that it happened afterwards. But no, read it. It says the dragon stood in front of the woman, before the woman. And I was tracking the sun at this time. We had 3 big X flares at this time. And this was the third of the X flares. The other 2 were so big and off the charts that everybody poo-pooed this event. And I did too. And I saw this one day sitting on my computer when I came home. I'm like, what? I didn't turn on my computer. Why is this sitting on there? Oh, that's that third X flare. And I tried to X out of it and poo-poo it and brush it aside. And that's when I heard, Brian, there's something wrong with that image. And I went, okay. And I looked at it for the longest time. And it took forever, but finally, and once pulled back, this image when it was first presented was so close and in your face you couldn't see it. It wasn't until I actually walked away and left my cursor sitting here, and the little pop-up window took the bigger picture and compressed it down for me. That's how I was able to see it when it was compressed. And now here it is compressed to where you can see it. All right. What we need to discuss, the bad news about this is, the white circle represents the size of your sun. The black thing is just the occulter on the camera. The black thing is not the sun. The white circle is. This thing is much bigger than our sun by a lot. It's black. It doesn't reflect light. It absorbs light. It's a black hole. See, a black hole is not a hole in the fabric of space-time like Walt Disney and Donald Duck could have you believe. No, a black hole is a core of a burned out star. Okay, the star died, it burned out, and its metal core super, super dense. Okay, denser than lead. Okay, you cannot go through a black hole. All right, it'd be like slamming into a solid brick wall that's lead reinforced. You can't go through it, even at the speed of light. You just splatter. Okay, you can't go through it. It's super dense. It has so much gravity that it absorbs light. It doesn't reflect light. Light can't escape from it. Therefore, you can't see it because it doesn't reflect light. Therefore, you could not see the dragon. Everyone missed the dragon. This voice told me, Brian, there's something wrong there. And when I saw that, he goes, everyone missed the dragon. They all saw the woman, but they missed the dragon, and you have to warn them. On this day, my life turned upside down, backward, forward, inside out, more than anything inside out. I didn't have to wear my heart on my sleeve now. I feel like one big raw exposed nerve. Imagine if you went to the dentist and he didn't numb you up. He grabbed the pliers and ripped your tooth out, and there's this nerve just sitting there in the cold air throbbing, making it throb. So it's very intense being able to feel everything. It all started right there. Then about 2 days later, a few days later here, we got to get back to this. You guys are hanging tough. I'm trying to go through this quick, but it's important that everybody grasp this as well. We can't go too quick for important information. Okay, we're going to go about halfway into this video right here. Okay, make out up at the top up here. This was October 4th. So 11 days after the Revelation 12 star alignment, on the September 23rd, October 4th, 11 days after the star alignment, this event took place in my garage, and my security camera captured it. Here we go. Here, and this was actually captured the day before the other picture, but I haven't found it for years later until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff, and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything, and I captured this one, and we're going to zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Just bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw, she's smiling, she's looking down, and she's holding a baby, and here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head, here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now, I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. See, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her. And you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th. So this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign and then right after it. So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God. All right. Hopefully you can see that little baby there on October 4th. All right. The night this happened, something changed in me. All right. My world went weird. Then the very next day, I put together that video. The wake up call video showing you Nibiru and Nemesis. All right. It was hard to put that together and warn the world because it just ruined my reputation and everything. I lost everything because of it. Anyways, I did it anyways, reported on it. And then that night, when that little baby was born, I posted the video, or this night, the next night, sorry, on October 5th, I posted the video and then went out here and I thought I was going to die. I was in anguish, crying, screaming, praying. Just a mess, dude. So let's watch this real quick.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So I've been going through some of the old photos and running them through the filter, and this was one of the first ones that I had ever captured. And what's going on here is I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once. I was in some extreme anguish. A paranormal traumatic event happened to me, something so unbelievable you guys wouldn't believe it. So if I told you, so I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you can make out her eye, her nose coming
It's
down.
too zoomed in. Hang on.
Her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it. Okay, and that's not all, because over here in this corner up here is an angel, the silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head. There's a glow over the head. The wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here. And you can make out there's an angel right here. And you can even see his head right here. A little bit tighter. So there's the angel with his back to us and his wings spread. Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This came out a little bit better here. Yeah, there's Mary looking down at my head because I was in anguish. I mean, what happened to me was just so disturbing. I can't even describe it.
Let's just not describe it. All right, so there's Mary, the God Eye, and an angel. This on October 5th of 2017, 12 days after the Revelation 12 star alignment. Just 12 days after that alignment in the sky. That should have rocked the world, that alignment. But when the dragon didn't show up, everybody poo-pooed it and went on. Meanwhile, my life just went vertical. All right, so this is an anointing ceremony. All right, because I did what it was called to do. I warned everybody about the dragon. I posted that video and showed you what couldn't be seen. I showed you the invisible. Okay, and then this happened on October 5th, and then we also got some other activity that was going on too, and we're going to go ahead and pull this one up as well. And you can come over to my channel, click on this stuff, watch it. It's all
To drinking,
right
I
there.
just realized that alcohol isn't this social lubricant.
Social lubricant need. All right, so let's get this one fired up really quick.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So I'm real excited to show you this one. This is an angel that was captured on my security cameras, and now I've run it through the filter here. So if you turn your head to the right, about 45 degrees, you can make out the head, the hair, the breasts, it's a female, the torso, the waist, the legs coming down here, a wing coming off here, a wing coming off over here. And we'll zoom in on this real quick because this one's nice and
Okay, tilt your head to the right like 45 degrees because this angel is hovering in the air at this angle. She's not standing up this way. She's hovering in the air at this angle. And if you tilt your head to that angle, you'll see it a lot better. Okay, a lot of people, when I first tried to show this image to some of the people, and they said, "Oh, I don't see it. You're seeing angels. You need to be locked up." And the whole time, because they didn't know their right from their left, they're tilting their head to the left. I don't see it. I'm like, yeah, because you don't know your right from your left. But if you tilt your head to the right, you can see it much better.
that you can. Okay.
It's got a
This
face.
is an angel that was caught hovering in a shaft of light over this sleeping child down below here. So,
Okay. Let's zoom out one more right there. Okay, pretty cool capture, huh? Now, I told the doctor, hey, I captured an angel on video and you can see it. And he says, huh, you're seeing angels? You need medication, you need to be locked up. I said, no. I captured one on my video, on my security camera, and you can actually see it. Oh, you're seeing angels? No. I went through 5 years of all kinds of institutes, jail, all kinds of crazy stuff because people didn't know their right from their left and wouldn't give me 2 minutes of their time to see a beautiful angel hovering over a sleeping child. The spiritual realm is one of the most beautiful images that we've captured. And I went through years and years of agony until one day the doctor, I told him during one of the sessions, I said, you know what, at the end of your session, because I don't even get to talk, can I have 5 minutes of my own session? Can I have the last 5 minutes of my session to show you something? Oh, okay. And at the last 5 minutes of the session, I finally showed him this video 7 years later or whatever, and he tilted his head to the right, and I saw his jaw drop. And I went, what's wrong, Doc? Are you seeing angels? And that's when that's what occurred to him, what he did for 5 years, not 7, but for like 5 years. I've been telling him the whole time. And you guys get to enjoy this beautiful little angel. It's pretty cool. Also back here, I don't know if you noticed, there's this little kind of evil looking demon face back here with these glowing eyes. Let me just kind of, I know it's a little disturbing, but there's see that in there too? Okay, this is security camera footage. It's admissible as evidence in a court of law. If you take any kind of security camera, if somebody robbed a bank and they were caught on the security camera, right? Well, this is security camera. What's the difference? Just the intruder didn't steal anything. They came in and left something. They left this little residue, electromagnetic residue on our digital cameras. How about that? And the spiritual realm being around me, okay? Beautiful little angel captured there around that same time frame, just after all this stuff started happening to me. Also, other stuff happening as well. And I hate to show this because I don't like to give attention to this guy, but it's important you understand that this part of the other half of the spiritual realm is real as well. Okay, so what you're about to see is a demon or a principality, and we might even show Satan's face. So you better have a strong foundation. Okay, all right, I'm going to go ahead and show this here. So you guys are...
Howdy, folks. Welcome back.
What I'm doing is laying out the dot to dots, okay? So we're going to connect all these dots. These are... You got to remember, each one of these dots is a miracle, a hint, and a clue at the same time. All three in one, okay? You got to view these things from that perspective, too, in order to see the hidden picture. So we're getting into this one now.
Going through some more of these pictures and running them through the filter and stuff. And not only were we finding angels and Mary and stuff, but there's also demons, and I've also found Satan in this stuff too. So as we're looking here at this picture, What I'm talking about is in this mosaic of blotchy white dots that you see this picture is comprised of. When you zoom in really tight in on a picture, you'll see that it's made up of these splotchy little patches and dots. These new digital cameras make these little blotches. Well, hiding in these blotches are faces. And if you haven't seen it yet, there's an eye right here and an eye right here. And when you make eye contact with these two eyes right here, you'll see the mouth fall into place down here. It's snarling. If you look, it's got some kind of streaks or horns or something or wrinkles coming out of its head up here. And this is some kind of demon or principality. You know, other people refer to them as principalities, but this is what I'm talking about, and hopefully you can see this here. This is a pupil right here of an eye. This is a pupil of a bigger eye. Here's the whites of the eye, the white of this eye. These two eyes. Once you look at those, you'll see it falls into place. Maybe I'll pull back a little bit. You can see a little bit better. Zoom in. Right about there is good. And you can make out there's teeth here in this mouth. There's a corresponding mouth with these eyes, wrinkles going across the nose here. This is some kind of demon or principality. And it's tucked in the way in the corner of this picture, way back up in here. And you can't even see it as in a normal picture, but you zoom in, swing it over, zoom in, and you can see this face just appear. And there's more faces in this stuff too, but this one's really, really defined and pretty dominant in this picture. So I want to start off with that one. Hopefully you guys can see this one. Okay. So in this sequence here, I've got my camera pointed at the couch now because I've been capturing activity around this couch. And one night I was just sitting on my couch there praying, and wasn't really thinking of capturing anything. Here I was just sitting here praying before I started taking pictures or doing my thing, and it was already running. And lo and behold, there's some kind of demon up here. You'll see some green wings over here kind of flapping, and it lifts up my bike and spits a bolt of energy on it. And I had no idea this happened until I went back through my pictures and stuff. And I put this series into motion in a flip book, and I realized, oh my goodness, look what happened. It picked up my bike and spit a bolt of energy on it. This one, you can't really see the face too well, but you can make out the wings kind of flapping. Maybe we'll pull it over this way a little more. There we go. And this thing turns, picks up my bike, lifts it up, and spits a bolt of energy on it. Okay, there's that. I'll let you look at that one for a second longer. Okay, in this series here, I'm sitting on the couch again praying, camera set up, and you'll see a purple streak, a bolt come in here, right there, boom. And it hurt. You can see my reaction to it. So we'll let it run again. Here I am sitting here praying. There's all kinds of stuff jumping around in the background, and then zap right there. And that was a real one. I could feel it. And now when I go back, we're going to go back to the top of that bolt and zoom in on the face. Okay, so here's the frame out of that sequence of me getting hit with that bolt. You can see the bolt coming down here. It's got a kind of a purple hue to it or whatever. And then we're going to start zooming in to the face up top here, and it's going to be Satan's face. So you guys...
Yeah, a little warning here for those of you who don't want to see this. I'm not glorifying this, but you need to understand this part of it.
See this? If not, you might want to stop the video at this point. But I do not glorify this at all. I do not like to give him attention, but it's important to know that he's real. because he wants everybody to think that he's not real. I think you might be able to see this face without me pointing anything out yet. There we go.
That's too close.
Okay, so let me zoom out so I can see it. If you look right here at this eye, this is his crazed eye. The other on the other side is bigger. It's the all-seeing eye. It's a little out of proportion, but then you can make out the side of his face, his jawline coming down, the bottom of his chin, his face going up here. Here's his mouth with some evil kind of grin on it. You can see his ear coming out over here. You can make out horns coming up. And this is in that mosaic of dots again, but these faces pop out and they're more prominent. You can see that this one really stands out. And that's Satan right there. You can even make out some wings coming up here.
You'll see him when we pull back a little bit.
And he's mad. He's mad because I'm praying. And he's spitting bolts of energy at me and spitting on my bike and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So.
Okay, enough of that ugly thing. All right, real footage from a security camera, admissible as evidence in a court of law. All right, now we're going to move on to this now.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So these faces that I've been showing you in the last few videos that are in the etherical or in that mosaic that I was talking about are not only taking place there, but now they're taking shape in our clouds. And with this new filter, I was able to go through some of these pictures and it really makes them pop now. So if you can't see it yet, there's an eye here, here's the nose, a mouth down below, here's an ear coming back up, the jaw running down, little pointed chin. And this face seems to almost be bisected. One half is like a goblin, and this other half looks like almost like a Wolverine or a Ewok type character. So I'll let you look at that for a minute. And this was pretty faint in the original picture, but now with the filter, it really makes it pop. So hopefully you guys can see that now. And then I'm going to bring you some more. Just real quick here, I wanted to show you the unfiltered version. This is the original right here compared to this one right here, where you can make out a lot better. Okay, one more, and this one right here, you can make out we have an eye here and an eye right here. Here's the nose, and here's some lips. And it looks like he's blowing. You can make out his ear over here, horns and stuff coming up, his eyebrows. There we go. Now you can see a little bit better. An eye, the nose, the lips. Okay, so I wanted to show you that one with the filter, so you can see it turned out pretty good too. So, well, that's it for now. I love you all. I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, if you guys looked up and looked into your clouds, this activity goes on in your clouds all over the place. This activity follows me everywhere I go. All these giant faces pop out of the clouds and watch and follow me and study me everywhere I go. This activity is, well, it's real, and that's how we get images like, well, back at here, we can get this, okay? So their faces showing up in your clouds, okay? All right, ever since September 10th, all this activity started happening, okay? And let's see here, where are we going next? What is this word? And I got tons of faces to show you, too. You guys want to see some of these faces, other faces here? Let's go, well, here, for instance. Okay, here's that image of this guy. I took about 5 pictures of that one. This one was originally a wolf huffing and puffing. Okay, blow your house in. Can you see the wolf? You can see his eye here, his other eye, the ear, the snout with a black nose. His mouth is open and he's huffing and puffing, and clouds are coming out. Wait a second. The wolf is blowing clouds out. The spiritual realm is controlling your weather too. Okay. And then let's back out of that. Okay, got 4 pictures of the wolf here. Okay, and then it kind of starts. Some of these events transition into another face. If I can manage to hold the camera up long enough, without the blood running out of my arms, it'll eventually change, and it changed into that face. Okay, so I got all these faces and the clouds that follow me all over the place. Let's go ahead and open up this one with a big long nose. And whoops, how do we zoom in on this? There we go. And you can see there's an eye with a pupil. I mean, there's teeth in the mouth. There's a little goatee chin. Look at a big old long nose, probably because of the liar. Or maybe it's just the entity has a big long nose or whatever. But you can see it descended way down out of the clouds, popped way down out of the clouds and formed right here. And it was peeking out from behind the tree, watching me. Watching, following, and studying everything I do. All right, here's another image. You can see how far it came up from the cloud deck, was way up here. Okay, this thing descended way down out of the cloud deck. It was way out of the norm. Okay, if you saw a cloud popping way up out of the cloud deck and descending down and looking at you like this, you probably wonder what the heck is going on. And at first it was, you can see this guy right here. Here's an eye, here's an eye. This guy reminds me of the little creature that sits on Jabba's lap. You can see a vertical slit. Okay, so these giant faces in the sky follow me everywhere I go. I go to another town. Look up, there's clouds all changing, looking at me, watching me. Then, let's see, what are some other ones we could show? It's this one. So you can see almost like a dog face, like a little pug face right here in this one. It's not very well developed. This was what the sky looked like when I went into the store. Okay, like this. And when I came out, it was the Grinch. Can you see the Grinch right here? Here's his nose, his puffy cheeks. Here's a slit mouth right here, an eye, an eye. It's a little better when you back out and it's a little more compressed. But you can see the Grinch, all right? And the Grinch, what did he do? He stole Christmas, right? It's a Christian theme type thing. The Grinch. And then I took lots of pictures of the Grinch. As you can see, I just sat there and squeezed off as many as I could. And then you can see the Grinch is starting to grow horns here. You see the cloud structures changing, and he's starting to grow horns. And then this little smirk, this little smile right here, and it turns into the dragon. Whoops, that didn't do it justice. Let's go back. There we go. Okay, so the Grinch turned into the dragon, and these giant faces all just follow me everywhere I go. All right. And at first it was very, very disturbing. Okay, but eventually I got used to it here. Some other stuff we got to cover too is down here. Oh wait, angels, UFOs. I'll just type it in. Okay, UFOs are real. Unfortunately, they are. Since I was a little kid, about 4 years old, I saw Silver disc, daytime sighting, and nobody even told me about flying saucers or UFOs. I already knew what it was. At that age, I already knew. And UFO activity was normal to me. Everybody else seemed to think it was all fake and it was this or that. Well, to me, it was normal because I've been plagued with it my whole life. So let me just show you a couple examples here.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back.
See this
I've
eye?
got so many pictures. And
There's a
so
face
much stuff
forming
to
right
cover,
here.
and I'm way behind on my videos, so let's just get to it. I'm going to squeeze a bunch of pictures into one video here. So I started seeing this event right here unfold, and I was looking at this spiral cloud and snapping pictures of that. But something else appeared in this picture, and I'm going to pull over to this little object that's hovering over the mountain here. Okay, so we got a nice clear UFO black disc floating in the sky next to this event. Okay, so there's that one.
Yeah, we got just
Do you like that? Electromagnetic, two different images, the same object. So I managed to capture it in two different images,
no.
the same object in the sky, in the same place. In two images.
Next to this angel right here.
Okay, just real quick here, I was taking a picture of this little round rainbow type effect, and as we zoom in, we caught another UFO sitting there. I was taking pictures. This is just sitting in the sky. So there's that one.
And there's UFO activity over my house constantly. There's at least 2 to 3 over my house all the time. All right, so I used to be a ufologist. I had 80 hours of little 2-minute clips like this, compiled 2-minute clips. I had 80 hours worth of evidence. And it's still not enough. Nobody even cares. It doesn't matter. They announced UFOs were true. I was waiting for that day for years when they would finally admit that UFOs are real. They did. They came out and admitted that the stuff was real. No one batted an eye. They would look right back down and started swiping through TikTok. I was like, what? All that hard work for years? I just threw 80 hours worth of footage away. What's the use? But anyways, it still continues. I still got plenty of footage. It just happens everywhere I go. All right, so there's that. And then we got to also kind of touch on this one too. Not just UFOs, okay? We have, we have this as well.
On my Howdy, folks. Welcome back. There wasn't much activity on the sun to report on today, and that's good because I had a revelation last night, and what I'm about to show you is going to knock your socks off. So, a couple of days ago, I was doing a video on these kind of craft exiting the sun, which looked like it was being towed out from behind the sun or something, and I did a video on that one, and that's this one right here, and it looked like it was this actual model being pulled out from behind the sun. So, I did a stream yesterday, and I was looking for a thumbnail for it, and I couldn't match up any pictures, wouldn't match up. And it wasn't until I started digging deeper into my pictures, and I pulled up this one right here, that I used as a thumbnail on my latest stream. That's when it occurred to me, this thing sitting next to this one, they're the same object. It's the same thing. Whoever made this craft right here is here now. And what I thought was a man standing on the plane before is actually one of the vertical stabilizers that comes out at an angle, kind of like an F-18's vertical stabilizers. They're not straight up and down vertically, they come out at an angle. Well, much like that, so do these ones right here. And what I thought was a man standing up is this vertical stabilizer right here.
Okay. This craft right here, this thing follows me, other models too. Follow me around, watching and studying and following me everywhere I go. So it's not just giant faces and angels and UFOs. This is actually, if we go back here really quick, down here below, these are artifacts that were created by humans. All right. They made gold trinkets out of well, to dedicate towards the visitation that they had with this craft before, or this race, we'll say. All right. So they made their little gold trinkets, these little artifacts. All right. These are 1,000-year-old artifacts. They're little toys for the kids or something, probably back in their time, right? 1,000 years ago, flying machines 1,000 years ago. This is an advanced race from a previous civilization, from a previous culture. Okay. So not only do I have UFOs and angels and giant faces that follow me everywhere I go, I also have advanced races from the past that watch and follow and study my every move. Okay. Then some of these other faces start showing up here. If we can get this channel to participate, thank you. Just one more, a couple more here, and then we'll get to our reading. We're almost done. We're all these dots, miracles. There it is. Miracles, hints, clues. Let me just take this back just a tad bit here.
Seeing these events unfold in the sky every day now, so I've been getting lots of pictures and not even enough time to process them yet, but here we go. So this one I saw unfolding when I was driving, and I couldn't take a picture until I got to this stoplight. So I squeezed off as many pictures as I could at this stoplight, and we're gonna start zooming in, pulling it over a little bit, and maybe some of you see it. So I squeezed off as many pictures
Now let me
as I could at
catch
this
it just the
stoplight,
right point.
and we're gonna start zooming in, pulling it over a little bit.
Okay, right there's probably pretty good. We got Yoda sitting here in the sky. Here's his eye, his other eye, little snub nose. He's got a really stubby chin that's just like right here at this bottom wire. Okay, here's his ear coming out, his domed head with all the wrinkles in it, his other ear. So there's this giant Yoda head sitting in the clouds over the Sierra Mountains down below here.
And maybe some of you see it now, but there's Yoda in the sky right there.
I think it's better if we pull back. Now, when we're way back, you can see it. Here's the head, the dome, the ear, okay? So look how big this Yoda head is compared to the mountains down below, the Sierra Nevada mountains. So there's this giant, big old Yoda head sitting in the sky right there.
I mean, I could at this stoplight, and we're gonna start zooming
right there. All right, maybe you can see that. Yoda, you go into the Star Wars trilogy, isn't a master, an ascended master. He dies and he moves on, he ascends into heaven. And I have ascended masters like Yoda that watch, follow, and study my every move. All right. Then activity starts to get even more bizarre, if you can imagine that. And we'll get to this image where one of the ones we read to, and you'll understand why I keep pulling this image up, because it's part of the, it's part of the dot, part of the picture. We're almost done.
Ever wondered how the pioneers purified water during all their long travel centuries?
Silver coin. we could just play the ad. Come on. Oh, YouTube, play your ad, please. Finish your ad. Centuries ago, we used to have computers at work. All right, well, I guess since that's all nice and jammed up, thanks to ads, you used to be able to just play something and not have to endure an ad to jam up your computer. Because, see, we were making progress there, and you guys were starting to get somewhere. Come on. I don't care about... I want my thing back. Can we skip it now? Oh, what is going on? Play? Can we do something? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. As you can see, the technical difficulties I endure when trying to do something here. A little indication of the cooperation I get around here. All right. What I want to do is come over to you. There it is, right there.
So back. So snapping some pictures of the clouds yesterday, and I noticed something forming in the clouds, what looked like a face over here. And I'm gonna start zooming in on this face because it's a real face. And if you look back behind it here, let's zoom in just a little bit. You'll notice that back behind here, this face is being projected by Jesus's heart right here. You can see it radiating out. Here's Jesus's face. He's pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart. His heart's radiating out this image in the sky. See this face here? And there's a crown right here. Also in the etherical,
More right here.
black, there's another crown right here. Anyways, I just wanted to show you this picture. Isn't this amazing? And this face, I recognize this face. I know who this is. I know who this face is. I see him every morning in the mirror.
It's my
That's
face.
not all. I got another one.
Now my face is showing up in the clouds. Not Yoda, not the Grinch, not all these other characters and stuff. Now my face is showing up in the clouds. And I'm like, what?
And a few moments later, in this image, I took a picture of the same cloud, but this is at a different angle. I rotated it 90 degrees. And I want you to look right up in here. You can see that there's a face, two eyes, smile. Here's the head. And the arms are outstretched, and he's holding a cell phone taking pictures of the sky. This is an image of me taking the pictures of the clouds. So the clouds are now mimicking me taking pictures of them. Pretty crazy. Tilt your head to the right a little bit and you can see it a lot clearer. And just to kind of go in on these eyes, because they're there.
All right.
The face.
Actually go in on the arms out, extended out.
That's what my eyes must look like when I'm looking up at this stuff.
I'm grimacing in pain because I have a shattered shoulder, 2 torn rotator cuffs, broken arms. So holding my arms up at a 45-degree angle for an hour is excruciatingly painful. Okay, you guys probably couldn't do it for more than 10 minutes.
Going, wow, no way.
All right, so
Pull back.
So here's my face showing up in the clouds.
That's
All
not
right.
all. I got another one.
All right. So now the faces that show up in the clouds still follow me around, but now my face shows up in the clouds now too with a crown. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe because I did, I reported on the dragon or whatever, reported on this stuff. It's a little sign that maybe I'm on the right path or something. But little do we know, it's another hint, another clue. Okay. Now, from this point, we went to this starts happening. And this stuff starts happening.
2024.
We got to go back. It's 2024, and all you get is ad after ad. You guys haven't figured out how to make money without just ripping people off. Yeah. Excuse me. What am I looking for? Oh, I gotta type that one in. Just real quick. With this one. Okay, we showed you this one the other night. Really quick. Again, I went into the store. UFO activity follows me everywhere I go. My son was in the car. I ran in to grab some, snacks or whatever. I come out. My son was like, Dad, another UFO dropped out of the sky. I got some pictures of it for you. Oh, cool. Thanks, son. So he took these images the day before Easter. And then the next day, I posted it on Easter and said, Happy Easter. But
like we have with a saucer-shaped cloud with this nice little white ring and everything. But back behind it, I see a darker black circle. A stellar core, what looks like a stellar core.
Yeah, let's
right
just get
here.
into it.
This is a set of eyes, realm, and in on it. Now, I'm going to point out something here that I have from my spirit videos, and it's what I call like the etherical realm. And I want you to look right here at this dot and this dot. This is a set of eyes. I'm going to pull it over a little bit. We're going to zoom in. Here's the mouth, the eyes, the face, the horns of a dragon.
Can you see that dragon right there? Did you lose jiu-jitsu tournaments? No, I never lose. And who broke my arms? Well, you're looking at them. See, I got to take this thing on every day. Okay, I have to take this thing on every day. That's why I'm shattered. Okay, so there's that activity. The day before Easter, okay, happened over that hill. And then I went back the next day and captured. Oh, let's just go. Oh, look, I don't feel like typing it. My hand's too numb. Lost all the feeling in my hands. It's weird when you have two dead pieces of meat.
And zoomed out and compressed.
All right, here we go.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So I know there's a lot of activity going on the sun, but I really don't feel like reporting on that stuff right now. Actually, I want to go back and revisit an event that happened earlier this year, 2020, around Easter, when I captured what appears to be Jesus in the clouds here. So I need you to tilt your head to the right about 45 degrees, and here's an eye, his other eye, his nose, his mouth, his chin and beard, his hair flowing back like this, and you can make out a crown up here above his head. And that crown is hovering over his head. There seems to be almost a little halo around his head too. And once you see that image, then we can zoom in just a little bit tighter. There you go. Okay, and this event happened over a course of about an hour, and I got a lot of pictures of it. See, if we go up above here, you can see all these pictures up from way over here going across, or all of this event, and I'm going to show you more of what happened here. Okay, here you can see that this face has changed now. Now we're seeing a more round, like lion type face with a nose right here. Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit, the chin going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now I'm going to go through and show you the flip book where it changes from Jesus to this lion face. Okay, now we're here at this image right here. This is a flip book of about maybe 15 or 20 of those pictures, and it's the transition between Jesus's face and the lion face. Now this
Okay, so this event happened on Easter. There was the dragon showed up the day before on the other side of the hill over here, kind of off the page over here. So the next day I went back over figuring out there's going to be an event on Easter probably, and this is what unfolded. Okay, 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. Okay, you guys? All right, so we're going to continue to almost done here. Now, all this stuff is happening to me. Please, Lord, can we have this computer little cooperation here? Okay. Maybe have cooperation. We can have this screen. Come on now. Yeah. We'll get there. Please, Lord, can we have some cooperation with this computer? No? How about this page? Well. Get this light ready and get ready to start reading, I guess. Well, we got as far as we did there. And that was pretty much most of it. All that activity is happening to me. And this kind of activity happens to me. Well, because of who I am. Oh, all of a sudden now it's not working. Oh, it was working fine for most of the show. Come on. Hesitation and lack of cooperation will not win favor. Wow. Well, there's your agencies interfering. Nice job, you guys. Duly noted, by the way. This is one of the last people on the planet you want to mess with the stream because you're... Yep. I can't even X out of anything now. Come on. Yeah, well, maybe we can still have this page. Yeah, we'll keep that. We'll just go right back up to the images. Please, Lord, come on. All right. And we'll just finish off with our reading, okay? All this stuff is happening to me because of who I am. This face in the clouds is my face again, with the crown again, on Easter. Okay, so it's important that you understand that this face in the clouds is my face showing up in the clouds on Easter, the 2,000-year-old prophecy coming true because of who I am. All right. I'm just doing all our reading to that one. I have some stuff for you guys today, too. So we have a lot of issues going on with the planet. We got a lot of issues going on with society, issues going on inside your head. And that's why we do the spiritual report, because I meet you in the place of your deepest need. So come to me just as you are, leaving pretense and performance behind. You are totally transparent to me. I know everything about you, and yet because you are my own, redeemed by my blood, I have unlimited, unfailing love for you. You endured to this part in the show. For how long did I drag you through this? I have unlimited, unfailing love for you and your patience with me. Okay. Ask my spirit to help you be honest and open with me. Don't be ashamed of your neediness. Instead, use it to connect with me in humble dependence. Invite me to have my way in your life. Remember that I am the potter and you are the clay. The weakness you bring me is malleable in my hands. It's not in your hands, but it's malleable in mine. And I use it to mold you according to my will. So your weaknesses they're not weaknesses. That's what makes you malleable so I can mold you. All right. Your deepest need is to lean on, trust in, and be confident in me. When you trust me, you feel better. When you lean on me, you feel better. When you're confident that I am back, I am telling you the truth, and I'm showing you the truth because I am the truth, then your neediness, you don't need to be ashamed of it anymore. You can lean on me. You can trust in me. You can be confident. You can accept that your lack of strength helps you lean on me in unashamed dependence. It shouldn't be shameful. The dependence, I understand. You can lean on me. I want you to lean on me, and you don't need to be ashamed. So accepting your lack of strength helps you lean on me in that unashamed dependence. Okay? I am training you to trust me with all your heart and mind. And it's a lifelong endeavor, okay? The best way to not be afraid is to have confidence in me. So when you have confidence in me, the things that are going on around the world just don't have the same impact. And I am training you to trust me with all your heart and mind. Your choices matter. They're a vital part of my transforming work in you. You make the most of your choices alone. Let me say that again. You make most of your choices alone in the solitude of your heart and mind. Okay, most of your choices, decisions, everything is all done alone in the heart and mind. But remember, I am Christ in you, and I know every thought before you think it, even decisions before you make it. Your realization that I'm aware of everything going on within you can protect you from careless, selfish living. When you're aware that I'm watching you, then all of a sudden you protect yourself from a careless, selfish lifestyle. Let your desire to please me, the one who knows you so intimately, let that desire change the way you think and live. You may have assumed that your choices are mostly insignificant, but this is not true either. A good decision you make today, however small, might just set you on a path to accomplish something very important. A bad decision, seemingly minor in scale, can lead to serious failure or loss in the future. Now, though your choices do indeed matter, remember that there is no condemnation for those who belong to me. I am able to see all your flaws and failures, yet simultaneously love you with glorious, unfailing love. I am your brother and your friend. I am the firstborn among many brothers, and you are being transformed to my likeness. This is an astonishing privilege and a blessing, and some children are blessed to have a strong, loving older brother who helps and protects them. Well, you have an all powerful big brother who is constantly looking out for your interests. Even the most committed family member or friend cannot be with you all the time. But I never leave your side. I am the friend who sticks closer than a brother. My continual presence with you, right here, right now at this show, this presence, even when the show is over, I'm still with you. It's a continual presence. I'm still here on this planet with you. I'm still present with you guys. So my continual presence with you should never be taken for granted. And remember that your faithful friend is also King of Kings. Okay? If you could glimpse me in all my glory, you would understand why John fell at my feet. I am the first and the last, the living one who was dead and is alive forever. Can we have this last little video? It's starting to maybe work here for the final piece of the puzzle there, because it looked like it might just be cooperation. Oh, wait, this is live. No wonder why everybody's gone. That's okay, though. You guys can always come back and watch replays. Let me just put this on. Oh, come on. It's so annoying. No feeling. Phew. Okay, I've showed you this one several times.
Showed you demons and Satan. See?
Okay, this birthmark thing. I did not know about this until Angel told me, hey, your birthmark, you need to check it out. There's this, stab wound birthmark on the side of my chest. Right there. Well, why is everything always bump stuff? Anyways, dang it. Let's just get one good image of it here. Oh, come on. Where is it? Right there. All right, there we go. Why with all the wavy lines now, Lord, huh? All right. See that birthmark? Angel told me that I was mortally wounded in a previous life. My birthmark was a mortal wound I suffered in a previous life. I'm like, what are you talking about? I never heard of that before. And then I look, and here's the stab wound on the side of my chest right there. Okay? That's because I am the first and the last. I am the living one. I'm alive. I'm in a skin suit walking around, the Word made flesh, dwelling among you. I'm the living one who was dead and is alive. See, I was stabbed in the side and I died, and now I'm back. I was dead. I am the living one who was dead and is now alive forever. And I want you to relate with me with reverence, because I am your Savior God. Okay? Remind yourself that the glorious gift of salvation is yours forever, and honor me with gratitude. Honor me with gratitude. The gift of your salvation. Okay, now you've been saved. You're also doing salvation work. We're salvaging every day, right? That's the gift of salvation, is being able to rescue your day with the help of me, right? So honor me with gratitude and keep working at salvaging your days. Okay, while you wait with me. And then praise me for the help of my presence. At all times and in all circumstances, it's appropriate to pray, thank you, Jesus, for being with me here and now. It's okay to pray that at any time and in any circumstance. Thank you, Jesus, for being with me here and now. Okay? And that's enough. That's it. That's all that you just recognized. And you said thank you. So that's enough. An important part of your assignment as a Christian is to trust that I am always with you. In faith, talk to me about your thoughts and your feelings, your struggles and your pleasures. Pour out your heart to me and believe that I care for you deeply, and I do indeed hear all your prayers. So seek my help with confident anticipation. Be on the lookout for all the ways I am at work in your life, in you and through you. Again, be on the lookout for all the ways that I'm at work in you and through you. Rejoice that you and I together can do immeasurably more than all you ask or imagine. My power is at work within you, especially as it connects with your weaknesses offered up to me for my purposes. Remember that nothing is impossible with me, and refuse to be intimidated by daunting circumstances. I repeat, refuse to be intimidated by your daunting circumstances. And then praise me for the help of my presence. Right? Refuse to be intimidated by your daunting circumstances. They're your test of character. You guys are really shining too. You are. You're shining right into other people's lives. You're really going, some go-getters on my team here. That's what I like. Some people are taking it seriously, actually using the tools that I gave you and finding some peace, some happiness that transcends the circumstances that are going on around right about now. Okay? That's why it's important. That's why this is your foundation. This is your rock. Okay? On which you can lean on which you can build on. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. It's a real thing. Okay, this isn't CGI or what's the other one? Photoshop or something like that. No, you see all the pictures I take. This is a real event. And that's why I keep going over and over this to solidify your foundation. This isn't about, hey, look at me over here. I did this. I found that. Blah, 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 blah. No, no, no. This is for you and your mental health. We all saw the shooting today, right? I'm sure everybody was over looking at what happened there. Obviously a case of some mental health issues, huh? Do you see why it's important to have a solid foundation with your mental health? That's why I am doing this, to try to help you. Okay? I love you. I miss you. And until my next show, I will be back. In fact, you're looking at my face in the clouds coming with power and great glory. And if you're still here at 3 hours, you must be caught up in this show. You must be like caught up like a good book or a good song or a good movie or, you know, a good TikTok thread that 4 hours later you snap out of it and you're like, oh, where have I been? You're caught up in that. And much like that, you're caught up with me in the clouds. You find it intriguing. You find it fascinating. You're caught up with me in the clouds. I can't come over and give you a big old hug right now. I'm almost paralyzed. But I can still meet you in the air. the air of cyberspace by going live on YouTube. I prepared a place so that where I am, you may be there also. And you are caught up with me in the clouds. You're raptured. The word rapture is not in the Bible, and you're not raptured. You are caught up with me in the clouds. There is no word rapture in there, and everybody keeps using it. Pre-tribulation, mid-tribulation, post-tribulation. Did you even look up the word tribulation? Do you even know what that means? Because tribulation's, well, that's relative to what you're going through, isn't it? Yeah. So I've been going through tribulation for almost a full 7 years. I got 3 days and it'll be the full 7 years. And I'm wondering if I'm going to be around with you guys after September 10th. So I'm giving it all I got with each stream to bring you as much of me as I can so you will get to know me. And I love you. I miss you. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. And you are my precious family. I miss you, and I will see you soon. Bye.